Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are just checking out the channel for the first time, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new and leave a like on this video. And if you guys are new to the channel, you guys don't know how I would normally do news videos, but my older subscribers will. So normally, I would do news videos where I would just go to the source in question, do my usual YouTube intro, and talk about whatever topic the article has ready for me in that video, and then I would just obviously read that information to you guys. But moving forward, I will be trying out this style of a news video as well, where basically there's accounts on Twitter where they'll just basically take the main piece of the information from those articles that I would normally read in long form to you guys in other news videos, and then they just basically clip out the most important information and put that out as tweets on their Twitter pages. Accounts like Discussing Film does that, One Take News, Hollywood Handle, and others as well. And I feel like both style of news videos work, where this one I can get out all the information I need to instantly quickly, but in the other one, if it needs to be more of a longer form discussion based off a topic that is just one specific topic, that's where that is going to be effective as well. So you're not going to see an overlap of both specific styles of news videos, but this style is something I'm going to be experimenting with more in the future. Like, let's say if something like crazy happens where it's just a long thread of some bullshit regarding anything, it's also interesting to go on Twitter and just kind of read all that as well. Plus, if people like generally quick information, then doing this is going to be much more effective in the future. But I get people like the other style as well. So let's go over what we have in this video today. And that is going to be Bob Iger and Disney. Obviously, Disney as a company has been suffering very, very badly. And you have people that like to basically kind of not acknowledge that for what reason, I don't know. And then you have like these weird cringe stan people that will never even say what Disney do is bad. And they'll just basically just lie and lie and lie about all the bad that Disney's done and basically pretending that their actual kingdom is not on fire right now. Now, I'm not saying that people can't have different opinions than me about most of the stuff. And that's what makes life beautiful, is having different opinions, right? But the thing here is, if you could just kind of look at what is going on, it's really bad for Disney, right? Even if you like what they've been putting out in terms of like movies and TV or like animation and everything else, even their theme parks that people may still be going to, they have been doing very, very bad things for a very, very long time. And I'm not trying to get into like all the past of Disney, but just the way that they've kind of molded this idea that they want this like mythical brand new audience, and the identity politics and propaganda that they've been putting out in a lot of their movies and a lot of their social stances on like just political things too. Even that Florida Don't Say Gay bill kind of thing. This company is obviously just in a downward spiral, right? And you can see that from many different things, right? And Bob Iger had a series of interviews he did with various mainstream media outlets. And they were talking about the theme parks, the stock price for Disney, Disney Plus, the streaming service, the movies flopping, outside of just the animation movies, the MCU as well, right? He also even talked about Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, actually, which was the previous CEO for a little bit there in between 2020 and like early parts of like 2021, right? So there's a lot to go over, obviously, and Bob Iger has mentioned how they're going to try and focus on back in the day, you know, when he first came in, right, and he saw just how bad things were. There was this interview where he talked about just all the many problems the MCU and Star Wars were having, and he mentioned quality over quantity, which is what further got said in an interview he did with Deadline, right? So the first thing we have here for you guys is Bob Iger and other Disney execs say their main goal is now quality over quantity. Now, he's mentioned that before, right? Remember in that article from THR, The Hollywood Reporter, where he mentioned that basically they've been giving out too much of their products and that has basically diluted the value from them, right? Now, this is the thing, is a lot of the projects recently that have been greenlit that did come out were obviously ones that were greenlit even when he was still the CEO, and then even after he gave it to Bob Chapek, things were greenlit under Bob Chapek as well. But When he got back to being a CEO, he could have easily just did what David Zaslav did, which was basically just ask the things that he personally believes is not going to be what the audience wants. Disney is putting out things the audience do not want, and you can see that in the box office returns, right? Just look at something like Little Mermaid, right? Who the flying fuck wants a race-swapped Little Mermaid? And then when people say, oh, if you care about the race of a mermaid, you got bigger problems. Oh, that's cool. Tell that to that movie's box office results that no one went and watched, because that movie flopped very badly. Right? How about just don't race or gender swap things and people won't get angry, right? So when they're talking about quality over quantity, this is something I gotta see in your actions. Actions speak louder than words. That is something I always stand by. So then you add the other thing right here, which is, he was talking about Bob Chapek right here, which is Bob Iger says he was disappointed in what I was seeing in the transition period while I was out, when Bob Chapek was running Disney. He says, I worked hard at distancing myself from it. So Bob Chapek is just an egregious fail for Disney when he became the CEO over Bob Iger, when Bob Iger chose to step down. The most egregious thing, obviously, I would be like, it's the way that he ran the parks. A lot of people didn't like that. We heard about. Then you also have the part where he was putting all the really hard worked on Pixar animation movies straight to Disney Plus. That was a big, massive fail that still has had ripple effects for Disney. As what we can see right now, people have just been tailored to just see Disney animated movies like from Pixar on Disney Plus. So they don't even bother to go watch them in theaters. Even if they may be good, they'd rather just understand, hey, I'll just get this animated movie on Disney Plus, which is what he did. He trained the audience to see that, because he put a number of them on Disney Plus when he should have just waited to release them in theaters. And even if the movies would have bombed, at least you would have got some money, better than nothing, right? Then what Disney did is we already heard rumors they were trying to get rid of Bob Chapek, right? They renewed this guy's contract for like 3 years, and we're sitting here thinking to ourselves, people with brains, obviously, and it's like, you know, they're not going to keep this guy for the 3 years. He's ran the company almost into the ground, right? He's flat out complete garbage, right? So people to know, if you renew someone's contract, to get them out of that contract, you have to pay them all that money out of the contract. So we saw it that day. Basically, it was a Sunday. Bob Iger got reinstated as an emergency initiation back into being CEO, where they basically paid out Bob Chapek's renewal contract and they brought back in Bob Iger. Like, I just don't understand, why did they renew Bob Chapek's contract when they knew they weren't trying to keep him? That's fucking stupid. They're just dumb. That's so stupid. Or maybe they didn't think he was gonna come back, and it's like, was Bob Iger really ever gone? Like, let's be honest here, was he ever really gone? Probably not, but then again, that's a theory you guys can debate amongst yourselves, right? So that's another big L from Disney. When you renew someone's contract you knew you weren't going to keep, and you had to pay him all that much money out of that. So this guy's just filthy rich now from, I don't know, just basically fucking up everything for this company. Crazy, right? But let's go to the next thing, which is what we've been saying for many years, and hopefully these companies would understand this before more of their movies continue to flop, right? Bob Iger says creators at Disney have lost sight of what their jobs should be. Entertain first, not messages. Yes, that's true. Your first goal is to entertain. An award-winning comic book writer said that as a quote, basically. Your first job is to entertain. Yes, entertain first. No one likes propaganda, identity politics, and no one likes being lectured for the most part in these movies, right? Now, I get it, like, lectures can be a weird thing, but if it's in the context of how a good movie is to give an overall great message and theme of the movie, that's different. But that's not what's happening. The message for them overall is just putting, oh, we're inclusive and all this bullshit. Like, no, fuck that inclusive. Fuck your inclusivity and fuck your bullshit. How about you just entertain first, write good movies, make good movies, and that's what should happen. I mean, he's saying this. Hopefully it's going to be a thing that they end up actually utilizing as a concept to make their stuff better. He adds that stories infused with positive messages for the world can be great, but that it shouldn't be the primary job. Yes, a movie having an overall positive message is a good thing. The messages from these other movies they've been releasing recently have been very bad. So there's obviously good messaging and bad messaging. They've been focusing on bad messaging and obviously trying to pander to, like, social justice warrior freaks, fucking people with like certain flags in their bios and just certain degenerate people. It's like not working out. That's not what the audience wants at all. Even people probably even from that community don't want that shit either, because it's just basically sloppy seconds from a company that is trying to basically virtue signal in the most disgusting way to just get easy brownie points to appear socially acceptable. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, I just never understood why they've been doing that. Why not just continue to make good stuff for the audience of buyers you already have? You know? And this also should extend for Star Wars, the MCU, and other properties they own too. Hopefully that's going to be a thing moving forward. I seriously doubt it, because if that were to happen, maybe my dad comes back in my life, and that's not happening because I'm black and I don't have a dad. So here was the other one right here, which is Bob Iger blames the underperformance of the Marvels on the large volume of content, making it difficult for execs to supervise. All right, so already right here, we know who he's talking about right here, and that's Kevin Feige. Okay, so we know that Kevin Feige has been very spread thin throughout the MCU right now currently, and even back a few years ago when they started doing TV, many more movies and projects getting greenlit. So as we know, Kevin Feige is the final person that can see these movies and greenlight whatever they're doing as far as reshoots, basically just, dialogue and character moments and all that stuff, right? So Kevin Feige is the exec he's talking about here, because he supervises all this stuff. What he doesn't understand is basically the fact that I'm pretty sure he was Disney's CEO at this time, before when the TV shows got announced, is them announcing more stuff for the MCU is what spread Kevin Feige thin. Now, people could debate if he was the greatest producer of all time with the MCU that he built, obviously. But if you stretch your main guy so thin amongst all these different projects, yeah, it's gonna be very hard for him to oversee a lot of this stuff, right? And it kind of feels like, for the most part, when it comes to like this kind of quote he gave to The Verge, and I think talking about Bob Chapek and the other things that he mentioned in the past as well, he's just basically blaming everyone else but the actual issue itself. They are making content no one wants to see. They're making content not only just people don't want to see, but stuff in the movie people just don't give a flat out flying fuck about. It's just terrible for the most part. The Marvels was shot during COVID, and there wasn't enough supervision on set. Yeah, more executive meddling in these movies. Exactly what we need, right? More people in suits saying this is what needs to happen. I mean, that is technically your job, so that's not like the worst thing ever, but you guys know when it comes to studio meddling, it's mostly based on a bad thing. It's mostly bad than good, obviously, but yeah, he's just flat out blaming Kevin Feige right here for the Marvels underperforming. And I mean, Kevin Feige runs the Marvel division, the MCU, so he is to blame for it. That's not like a lie. It's just more like that's not the reason why the Marvels failed. The Marvels failed because no one even cared about the first Captain Marvel. No one liked it. The word of mouth on that movie is completely terrible. It got $1 billion through complete luck. It's not a good movie at all. And you announce a sequel to a movie that no one liked, and the only reason why it got a sequel announced is because it made $1 billion. It makes perfect sense to announce a sequel to $1 billion movie. That makes sense. But this is $1 billion movie that people just flat out disliked on every single level you could imagine. So then you got the result of the Marvels, and the Marvels has the biggest superhero movie drop in superhero movie history, higher than Morbius, and Morbius is dog shit, right? So here was the final quote right here, and this is just like, is this guy even on the same planet we're on? Does this guy live on Earth 1 like we do? I doubt he does. Bob Iger says, "I don't want to apologize for making sequels." Okay? Which is like, any company making sequels to successful first films is not a bad thing. It's not, right? But they're making unnecessary sequels that have no interest even in the first movie, right? We've made too many. So that right there is a complete contradiction. He doesn't want to apologize for making sequels, but he also says in the next quote, we've made too many. What? That doesn't even make sense. What a fucking dumb fuck. That doesn't mean we're not going to continue to make them. We only greenlight a sequel if we think the story is worth telling. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there was enough story worth telling in Toy Story 4. Yeah, that's definitely enough storytelling there where you sideline Woody, you fucking you just have Buzz Lightyear as just a useless character throughout the whole movie, you just basically have the other cast of toys be completely useless as hell, and you push like Woody being with Bo Peep, you have a shitty villain, but Toy Story should never have any fourth movie. And I know they announced Toy Story 5 a while ago, and I know they announced other sequels, right? I think it was Frozen. I don't know how many movies are in the Frozen franchise because I'm not a 5-year-old girl, so I don't give a fuck what they actually have in them. But it's like, are people really clamoring for a lot of this stuff? I mean, Deadpool 3 is probably the only one people are mildly interested in. Are people really asking for a Zootopia 2 or potentially a Frozen 3? We know ain't no one asking for no Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 is dog shit, you know? So it's like, it's really crazy how in one vein he can say the right thing about what we're thinking, but in the other vein, put all the blame on other people, you know? So, yeah, I don't really know if Disney's ever going to really get better for the most part, and we know that their movies are constantly flopping. The new movie that they put out, Wish, is not doing so well either. It's just crazy how this company is basically just, I don't know, shot themselves in the foot because they thought there was some imaginary audience that was out there that they wanted to pander to, and there was some huge money profit there, and in reality, there's not. They just basically screwed over their existing fan base, calling them a bunch of names as executives and actors did from this company, and that basically turned off everybody for this company, you know? Then, I mean, look at just recently, like the Marvels came out, right? And people started blaming white dudes, when in reality, white dudes are the one that went and saw the movie and more than anybody else. White dudes, Mexicans, black guys, and Asians. Those are your top 4 demographics for the Marvels, which is a movie flat out dedicated to women. But it's not dedicated to women because superheroes, and just superheroes in general, are catered towards dudes. Women didn't go support this. They didn't, because the highest gender demographic, and there's only 2 of them, men wouldn't supported it. The race of men that they don't even like, just white dudes. They would, the race that they firmly hate, executives told they, executive interviews and actor interviews, that you can go look this up yourself. The race of people they despise want to support this more than the gender that it was dedicated to. It's almost as if like the MCU is a superhero action movie franchise where it's dedicated towards dudes. I'm not saying females can't like it, but it's mostly your demographic is going to be men, actually. So I don't really know what's going to happen with Disney moving forward. I mean, Disney Plus, I mean, that's basically, I mean, we can just see that, and that is just completely a fail for the most part. Disney Plus is supposed to be profitable by 2025, and we're approaching that very, very soon, and it's not going to be. Because streaming services in general are not profitable, they're just a flat-out complete money dump, and Disney Plus is a streaming service that no one is really utilizing at all. And you can clearly tell that the interest in the content there has just been very bad. Just oversaturation of just Marvel, Star Wars content, stuff people don't even care for. It's definitely going to make people not want to stay subscribed to Disney Plus. But what do you guys think about Bob Iger's recent answers for what's been going on with the company recently? Is there going to be a change of quality over quantity? Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But like I always say, actions speak louder than words. And just to end this video out for you guys, I know you guys saw a recent video of me and K-Dot talking about Aquaman 2's box office predictions, and it might end up even opening up worse than the Marvels. That was actually from the Iron Man podcast, which you can watch live on my Rumble channel or Twitch channel or Twitter, if you want to, or X as they call it now. You guys can watch the Iron Man podcast live on those platforms, and I'll be releasing clips from that podcast if I deem them quality enough to put out as videos for you guys. But if you want to watch the show live and you don't see me upload here, I'm obviously doing game streams over there, and I'm doing the Iron Man podcast over there as well. So check out the links in the description box below. Thank you guys for watching this video so much. You guys are amazing. I am MSK, Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.